On behalf of Elders India, I welcome you all to this very special session today to celebrate World Health Day, which was yesterday, 7th of April, and to join us on this journey of positive aging. So you may have seen a lot of these posts on LinkedIn and Facebook, even Instagram, on a trending topic called Blue Zone. I'm sure many of you would have heard about Blue Zone also earlier on. So what is Blue Zone? So Blue Zone is basically regions of the world where people have long lives or the highest number of centenarians. And what is really remarkable is that not only do they have long lives, but also they have healthy and happy lives. As you all know, longevity is on a rising curve. India's life expectancy is expected to increase by 150% by the year 2100, from 35 years in the year 1950. We are expecting the life expectancy to touch 81 or 82 years by the year 2100. Obviously, over the years, increased medical care and better diets and healthier lifestyles have contributed to this increasing life expectancy statistics. But while we are happy and thrilled that we have a longer life journey, we also need to remember that it has its own social, economic, and cultural impact that we need to be aware of. And with these changing demographics, we can surely say that this requires immediate attention. So to celebrate this World Health Day, I am thrilled to bring together two incredible minds today in this session who have been impacting their spaces in different ways. I welcome K.S. Raghunandan, founder of Elders India, who is committed to empowering seniors and their caregivers, thus enhancing their quality of life. And our very special guest today, a phenomenal person, a renowned eye specialist, a marathon runner, a mentor, an innovator, Dr. Virender Sangwan, with a wealth of experience in the healthcare industry and a passion for promoting healthy living. At 60 plus years of young age, he is a living proof of the power of positive aging, as you will figure out in the next 45 minutes. So in today's conversations, we are hoping to share invaluable insights, tips, and strategies for embracing the aging process with grace and vitality. We will be happy to take on any questions, which you can put in the comments box. If you're here live on Zoom with us, you can put it on the chat box. If you're watching it on LinkedIn or Facebook, do feel free to put up your comments and questions there. We will definitely pick it up from there. I hand over now to Raghu and Dr. Sangwan to take the session forward.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Rima. It's such a privilege to be talking to an accomplished ophthalmologist, innovator, having had a dream career, making a huge difference to thousands of your patients, giving them back their vision, and of course, the immense contribution on the research and innovation front. Yet, Dr. Sangwan will not be talking as much about the medical science or the stem cells research and its huge importance. We'll focus a little more on the person behind the accomplishments and your perspectives on positive aging, as Rima mentioned. So let me begin by noting that I understand you are turning 60 this year.
Yes.
At this stage, what are your feelings having about just about to reach that milestone?
Well, for me, I think personally, I don't feel that I am 60 or I would be 60 in a few months. If you just think of my mind, but body sometimes remind me that yes, it is aging. And more, other people around me, sometimes it's a stranger when I'm running in the society, in the building, they will ask and stop and ask, sir, why are you running? In old age, it is not good. I said, I'm not even 60. Why? What is old age? So personally, I think it is one of the best time period of life where you have everything sorted out. And if you can manage to keep active, I think that is the key. The problem that I see, because a lot of my patients are in that age group or older, and what they, most of them, अरे डॉक्टर साहब अभी तो 60 का हो गया, अब क्या है, बूढ़ा हो गया. So I keep telling them, no, please, Buddha is, you are not retired from life. You may be retired from the job. So don't retire from the life. You may not be working, but keep doing something interesting.
True. No, I agree. I think, but yeah, while all of us keep aging, there is somehow a negative connotation on aging in general in the society. So maybe we can just elaborate that on that a little bit. What's your perspective on aging?
My perspective on aging is that one should plan actively that
Okay.
each decade what you want to do.
Mhm.
For example, about 5 years back, I moved from Hyderabad to Delhi and
Mhm.
NCR basically.
Mhm.
Why I moved was primarily because I wanted to be living my life differently.
Mhm.
I have been able to achieve that to a great extent, and I'm already planning for next 10 years.
Wow.
So basically, okay, what are the things that I should be doing physically? How do I deal with my mental agility? How do I deal with my health? What are the skills I should be learning? What are the new things that I would like to do? How I know that after 10 years, what I am doing is relevant or not. So all those kind of questions, that is my way. But most people, what happens is that they think, oh, now you're 60, you are going to retire, you don't know what you are going to do. I think that is not a good approach.
Mhm.
My approach is be active, be actively planning, actively thinking, and just think about what interest you have and what is that you are likely to contribute to the society. May not necessarily be through your formal work.
True. No, yeah, you touched upon some of the actions one can take in terms of actively planning, thinking, and so on. We were briefly talking a little while earlier, and we were discussing about one's view of purpose of life. Everyone starts off with learning, developing oneself, progress on the professional front, earning a living, protecting one's family, etc. But you had a slightly different take on it, right? So once, if this is the purpose of life, after you, once you reach say 60, that's what most of us think. Now what else, right? So you had a different take on the purpose of life and retirement itself. So maybe a little bit of elaboration on it before we delve deeper.
See, if you can figure out what is the purpose of your life, and
Mhm.
that again is a very active process. I have been figuring out for many years by reading books, listening to talks, doing different courses, apart from my ophthalmic and my medical field. So the way I have figured out is that I would like to, my purpose of life is that I want to contribute to the nation building.
Mhm.
Like to contribute to the community where I live. I like to contribute where I work. So all these elements, what it does is it makes your mind free, that your self-interest is taken out. And that also I have reached a stage by actively planning long back. Say, for example, I wanted to not have any loans by the time I reach age 60. I should not have any kind of a debt. I should also be having a revenue stream or a income stream which is beyond my professional income, meaning that should be from my investments or from real estate or others, where it is not dependent on my medical skills. So if you say, if those of you are younger in 30s or early 40s, if you start thinking, okay, this is how I want to plan my life, then it's much easier to start looking at your finances or your investments, your life, your family responsibilities. So my purpose of life is very clear. So I'm very focused on, it's not about me. My 20, 30 years of professional life accomplished quite a bit, but now it is about people around me, how I enhance their quality of life, how enhance them so that they are more effective. Whosoever, be it my driver, be my domestic worker, or be my colleagues, junior doctors or nurses, or the community where I live, or the village I come from.
Absolutely. I think you touched upon two very important things, and one is around, if you plan well, especially in terms of the finances that you need. You said, I'll no debt, and making sure that you have a steady income so that you don't have to worry about that aspect. Then you can go beyond and then look at making a difference to the community and thinking beyond yourself.
Yeah, but here, Raghu, can I interject once more?
Yes, yes.
Also, it's very important to understand what do you need and what you want.
Mm.
Say making that distinction. Say, for example, I drive a very small, a reasonable car, not very expensive, and I don't really have any aspirations that I should be driving Mark or I should be driving this and that. Because for me, the view of physical possession is they serve certain needs, and beyond that, I should not be wasting my money or resources in just because I like those things. So you need to audit, or you need to re-examine what are your wants and what are your needs, and focus on your needs, not on your wants.
Mm. So that's good. So, but when we talk about planning, of course, financial planning is very important. But I thought you also told me you kind of keep track of, you keep some sort of a notes of what you want to do, how you're doing, and keep revising that on a regular basis.
Yes, yes.
So maybe a little more elaboration on that, just
Okay.
so that all of us learn from that.
All right. So let me go back about 14 years back.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in LV Prasad Eye Institute in Hyderabad,
Mm-hmm.
around 2009, 2010, I started thinking, do I want to live life the way it is now? And believe me, it was very good life. I had a very good, income. The work was very good, publishing, grants, everything you can think of a dream. But I started, do I want to be living like this after 10 years, or I should be living differently? And the way I understand, or the way I feel, is that I allow that thought with me for a few days, few weeks. That when I think of continuing same way, then my body tells me not so great. It doesn't feel energetic, not excited. The moment I start thinking, oh, I can go back to North India or Delhi or Haryana, closer to my village, I feel energized. So that is how I decide whether what I am thinking or future planning is good or not for me. So people will say a lot of things. So this is how I test with myself whether what is my intuition, what is my body telling me beyond my intellect. So I started planning to come here in 2009, and I wrote down entire things. What are the things that I want to do in life? It included politics. It included starting my own hospital. It included a variety of things that I want to do in the hospital before I leave. So I said, okay, I have 5 or 7 years. I must accomplish these projects and these big things which I started. Secondly, I told to myself that whatever things I have learned and started, it should stay. I should create a system that nothing get disrupted in the hospital, because that has given me a lot of things, my name, my career. So I did all those things. And then when I told my chairman there, obviously he was not very happy, but he started respecting me more once I explained my rationale and all those things. So instead of I could not leave in 5-7 years, it took 8 years. So I relocated in 2018 here. And then at that time, I was thinking I will start my own hospital. I want to make a big institute. But then I joined the Dr. Soroff Charity Eye Hospital. And then I knew about the hospital, about the people, everything. But then I saw, okay, these people don't have the research, translational elements or innovation. And that is something comes very easy to me. So, and then COVID came. So, there's more of introspection. Then I started realizing, is it worthwhile to start another hospital when you have an 100-year-old hospital serving the society? And if I want to contribute, why not contribute in the same system, whatever you want to, and don't look for your name or your fame. Just contribute what you need to, so that then you can keep move on. So my planning is constant. Taking notes, I use my phone, the notes app, which is always with me. So I keep scribbling whatever comes to my mind. So right now I have a folder which says Mission 2050, which means that I should be working actively at least year 2050. India turns 100 years in 2047. So
Yes.
I'm very clear that I should be contributing to the nation building. And that gives me a lot of positive energy.
Wow, what a way to energize oneself. Looking, let's say if you're at 60, you're now talking 26 years ahead. So you're planning well into your mid 80s and beyond. So that's a
Yes.
very energizing kind of talk here. So,
And I have good examples,
Mhm.
that I have reasons that, okay, my mother, she passed away 2 years back. She was 95. My
Wow.
my father and my grandfather and grandmother, they all passed away beyond 90. So and then I've seen 2, 3 doctors, one from Italy, one from America, whom I trained with. Both of them, the guy in America is still alive. He's 101 year old, and the gentle doctor from Italy, he died when he was 97, and he was doing surgeries. He spent with me 1 week in Hyderabad in 2010. So I see that it's not something I'm thinking is not anything unusual. There are a lot of people who have that kind of lifestyle, and it's possible.
Absolutely. So, is it therefore, left to oneself in terms of having some sort of a clarity about purpose of life and having specific goals and be ready to keep changing the goals as circumstances change and have a positive attitude? Is that what positive aging is all about, or is there something more to it?
I think it is positive aging is about your attitude.
Hmm.
It's all about attitude, and attitude meaning examining yourself and your thought processes periodically, whether
Okay.
they're relevant, they are not relevant. Are you doing things which are relevant today? Will you be relevant after 5 years? Say, for example, I read a book called Men's Search for Meaning.
Hmm.
It's written by a gentleman who is from Vienna, and he was in the Nazis concentration camp. He was a psychiatrist, and Viktor F. Frankl. When I read that book, I realized he just says the whole purpose of life is to keep each of us have different meaning, different purpose of life, and the finding that purpose, it's also is life's purpose. So it is not something that uniquely you can find one day. If I tell this is my purpose, Raghu, your purpose can be like this. No, it is something you have to find what is unique, what is that excites you, what is that you think that you can contribute.
Wow. Completely agree. So yeah, got the point about the having the right attitude. And as I was discussing with you about your own journey through the last 60 years, when you moved back to Delhi, you were telling me that you had a feeling that you're almost starting your life all over again. And it was interesting about the incident that I heard of the HR person at the hospital in Delhi now asking you for the experience certificate when you have accomplished so much in the previous 40 years. So how did you feel? And I think you related that back to the importance of humility in addition to the attitude. So maybe, a little more elaboration on that would help.
Let me put that in context, meaning that when I moved here, so I here in Saraf, when I joined, I'm the senior most doctor. Even the CEO is 5 years junior to me, and
Wow.
I know him from many years. So, but the HR person, who is just having his checklist. He doesn't know who is Dr. Sangwan. He knows some doctor has come from Hyderabad, and he very innocently asked me, sir, there is one document missing. I said, what is that? He said, sir, your experience certificate. I said, okay, I will get it. So I had to ask my director, who was my colleague, and said, please send me this experience certificate. It seems it's required. I didn't tell or complain to anybody. I felt that it is his job, and I should, provide that document. And it also told me that I'm starting all over again. I did not have my Aadhaar card or my address on proof. I have to do all my documentation from scratch, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted to disrupt myself. And I was very impressed with this Apple founder Steve Jobs' speech he gave in 2012 to Stanford graduating class, in which one of the things he says, if every day you get up and see, and some days you start realizing, I don't feel like going to work, it is time to reflect, to disrupt yourself. So for me, that was the kind of phase that I was going through in 2010, 2009. And I actively planned my disruption. I watched some videos on YouTube. I read some books. I met some people, at least 10 different people from different walks of life, that who has done something like they gave up their corporate job, or they're doing some other kind of work. So I met them. What did they do? What challenges they face? So for me, it was a proper planning. It was nothing knee-jerk reaction.
And you took that decision to move just when you were on the verge of the pinnacle that you would have achieved at the LV Prasad. So you just said you just thought that there is something more to it than just being at the top of the hierarchy in an organization, but there is something more that kind of drives you, and therefore that's what probably took you back to Delhi.
Yeah, so my thought process was like this, Raghu. I thought that if I stay here in LVP, I will probably be the director or the chairman of the entire network, and which is a very big, very prestigious hospital, and no doubt it is very prestigious to be in the top position there. But again, my way of testing that idea versus moving is same in feeling with myself, how my body tells. And I do for several weeks. When the idea of continuing as a chairman, I relay in my mind, I imagine in my mind what my feeling, what my body tells me, versus the prospect of going to North India and starting something new. And what it is new, I had no idea. I had no clear picture of what is that I'm going to do. What is the new I'm talking about? But that told me that I feel energized when I am having this thought of going back. Because for me, staying in the same position, doing the same thing, just trying to maintain your position is not very interesting. And by then it became very clear that I'm not interested in holding a formal position in the hierarchy. So when I came in here, Delhi, I was very vocal and very clear that I do not want to have any operational role. I want to just be a creator and develop something new, which does not exist in the hospital. And I want to live in 10 years. I will build something which all of you feel good, and it will add value to the organization and add value to the society. So for me, it's more about creating impact than just earning my salary. That anyway I will do whatever I do. That is not going to go away.
Amazing. So we discussed around planning, purpose of life, listening to oneself, being ready to disrupt oneself, and so on. A lot of it is therefore, mental, and the attitude, the importance of humility and so on. But aging is also a process of some sort of a deterioration in terms of our own physical abilities. So what should one do? Being a doctor, he can probably advise a little more. From a dietary or a lifestyle habits, how do I make sure that my body is capable of taking all the ambitious activities that I might plan for?
So see, what happens is like I lived like most of the people or most of the doctors for a long time until say 2017,
Mhm.
7 years before. I used to be overweight. I used to not very fit, and I will start gym or running and then leave it because of the work pressure. And it went on for almost 25 years.
Mm.
And something because it was playing on my mind for some time. I was in LA for a ophthalmic meeting, and there I had registered for 5K, and I could not even run 200 300 meters. And that day I somehow, what came I don't know, but I said I have to walk and complete this 5K whatever happens. And after that I came to Hyderabad back and registered for Hyderabad Airtel Marathon, and I registered for 10K, and that was in August. So in 3 months, next 3 months, I prepared myself and I did reasonably okay, not very good, but I completed 10K in 1 hour 25 minutes. And after that, I have never gone back on my commitment for physical fitness. And once my physical fitness improved, I lost almost 25, reduced my weight from 92 to almost 75, 76.
Wow.
And
That's
and then I started realizing that the nutrition is part and parcel of your fitness, and
Mm.
it's easier to manage your nutrition better if you are doing active life, if you are living active life. So for example, for me now, or for me and my wife, both of us, a standard day is we get up at 4 a.m., 4:30 in the morning, irrespective of the Sunday or a holiday or a work day. We both prepare our meal, and then I go to run for a run or a gym. She goes for yoga, and we are back in the evening. So I do not eat from outside. I'm little conscious about what I eat, and increasingly I have moved away from the meat and even eggs. So nowadays I mostly vegetarian, purely vegetarian diet, mostly uncooked, maybe about 70-30% ratio of cooked versus uncooked versus cooked. So
wow.
it's very important to prepare your body, and it's very important to prepare your mind.
Absolutely. So, aging happens all the time, and you talked about your journey and how you also took to your physical fitness and nutrition and so on. Clearly, one needs to take control early. How early, if you were to advise somebody,
If
how early would?
if you are really can start in early 30s, just you turn 30, I think that will be much easier. I don't think that it is advisable for someone like what I started too late, but it's okay. Even if those of you are in the early 50s, not late. I mean, it's never late. Start whenever you realize. But if you can start when you're 30 to incorporate your program about your fitness. And fitness can be not no only gym, it can be walking, brisk walking, running, cycling, swimming, body weight exercises, or yoga, or a combination of all of those things, and built into a routine. See, unless you build into your routine where you don't have to make decisions on daily basis, then only it will work. I've tried all those things, that okay, I'll go twice a week, I'll go half an hour. It doesn't work. It has to be like in the morning on default, that I get ready. I just do my morning routine, have tea, and I'm just wear my shoes and go out.
Not that. So there is a lot of personal planning, discipline, attitude we talked about. But
Discipline and attitude. Not
attitude.
not much planning.
Okay. All right.
Because if you say, oh, every day morning I get up, go to the kitchen, make my tea, it's same.
Mm.
Okay, after that I'll go to washroom, prepare, and wear my sports shoes and out. And I would prepare this much. In the beginning, I used to keep my sports shoes, my active tees and shorts ready, visible to me when I walk onto the living room or in the kitchen, so that
Mm.
they are okay. This is what I have to do next.
True. See, another problem with long life is also potentially loneliness, right? It's they say it's becoming a silent endemic. So though we may be connected digitally, we may be lonely, within our hearts. What role do you think relationships and social connections play in the context of positive aging?
I think the virtual relations or virtual world is basically gives you a false impression that you have so many likes, so many people watch your videos or see this. I think if you are not in touch with real humans, for us doctors, fortunately, we are always in the with the people,
With the people.
suffering. So it makes us humble. Like you see, I see about 100 patients every day, twice a week, and
Wow.
operate about 10, 15 surgeries twice a week. Then I have load of staff. So it is automatic. But if you don't pay attention to people around you, then there's no relationship. So I would make sure that I would say hello to my security guard or my gardener or my staff around me, ask them how they are doing, what is happening in their life, what are the challenges they are facing. So because that is what the connection is created.
Mm.
And
And,
same
and that's
happens with
very
our
important.
patients. Same
That's
happens,
very
same
sorry.
happens with our patients. Like when we talk, some people think, okay, you should talk a lot of time. This it is your heart to heart or body language which conveys to them. I don't talk too much to the patient, but everyone I give my number to them. They so that I'm always accessible to them. And if they call or message, I make sure that it's written within 24 hours.
Oh. I'm conscious of time here. Just wanted to check if there have been any comments or questions, Rima, in the social media. Otherwise, I will go on with my next question.
No, Raghu, you can continue.
All right. Okay. So we discussed what one can do in the context of one's own planning and attitudes and so on. What initiatives you think the people around us, the community, the family, play a role in terms of healthy aging or positive aging, especially in terms of supporting elderly?
Well, I think if we can, say, for example, I go in the morning for a run or walk in my condo. So if every time that I will stop and say hello, ask him how they are, how is the life, how is everything at home. So wherever you meet, wherever you come in contact, pay attention to what they need and what they are saying. At least give your a little bit time to their issues. They may many times it's just about hearing them out.
True.
Like this morning when I was coming, one of my patient from Calcutta, she's a renowned professor, and she's losing her eyesight slowly due to age-related macular degeneration. She lost her husband last year. She has only child daughter. She lives in Singapore. So she talked to me for about 20 minutes about her difficulties. I know that I can't do anything for those difficulties, but I just allow her to express herself because she's very lonely. She says, doctor, don't have relative, I have no one to take care of me. So for her, the treatment is not eye drops. The treatment is to listen out to her and give some ideas. If I can, I gently suggested, madam, maybe you should, consult a psychiatrist or clinical psychologist. Sometimes when we are grieving, we are not able to express. So anyone you come in contact in your community, at workplace, or when, say, for example, you are in a cab, if the driver strike a conversation. I think this is the least that we can do. Number two, if you have senior citizens or your grandparents at home, make sure that you spend little time with them on daily basis. It doesn't really take too much time. It's the life is busy and it's going to be always busy. And one of the other reasons that I relocated to North India is when I relocated, my mother was alive, and I wanted to be closer to her. Every 15 days, either I will go to my village, or if my mother happens to be in NCR, we make sure that either she is at our home or I go and spend some time with her. And we are 5 brothers, sisters, so we made a roster that every week one of us will be with her. So basically, it gives you peace and strength.
You also derive that strength from that elderly, and obviously you give
Exactly. And the kind of wisdom, the kind of experience they have, it's enormous. Just simply, we are not able to benefit from that.
Absolutely. So, talking about another point, when we talk about, what we can do ourselves, and we discuss a little bit about the community, we were also discussing, I think you made a point about thinking of our 20 years ahead and look at what are all the technology changes, the changes potentially in terms of in your medical science, since you're a doctor. So how do you think one needs to keep abreast of what's going on, and how would that play a role in positive aging?
See now, for example, I commute from Gurgaon to Delhi. So even though I have a driver, still it takes about an hour in the morning, hour and a half in the evening, and I use that time. But I don't think that I will be doing it for continuously for another 10 years. Maybe I'll do 4 or 5 years. And then I'm already working on my ideas. Number one, I would like to start consulting from home or video build my online community, where I can do a consulting job for drug industry, pharmaceuticals, or hospitals, or doctors, or students, all kinds of things that I can do. Third, I'm connected, and I'm actively pursuing that startup ecosystem that I would like to be investing as an angel investor, and also would want to be a mentor. And I'm already have a position as a mentor council member in India Accelerator in Gurgaon. So therefore, my next phase of life is already taking shape.
Wow.
And I'm not going to give up my surgeries and patient. So the mix of work will change. But as I get older, I don't want to be commuting for too long. I will spend more time on health and fitness and spirituality, and then also do these other things, and maybe also start writing books.
That's interesting. So yeah, you can impact a lot more lives if you can capture some of these thoughts in the form of books, so that others can also derive some learnings from what you have gone through. You mentioned
just 1 minute. In 2000,
yeah.
I had a thought which still has not gone away, that I said I do want to do things that I should be able to touch 1 billion lives directly or indirectly.
Wow.
So and I have not figured out how, but if I look like now, okay, I still have 20 years, I can do it.
Amazing. Yeah, that's a great ambition to have, and I'm sure you're already on way to impacting 1 billion lives, if not directly. And some of the work that you have done would definitely have the potential to touch a lot more patients and give back their vision and so on. So you're probably already on the way. But beyond just the medical science, there is also other learnings that your success can have, and definitely writing a book is one good way to reach out to a lot more people. What are your other interests? The reason I ask is, one of your interviews, you started talking in the local language when you were working in Hyderabad. You were talking in Telugu, and I see from your LinkedIn that you have an interest to learn Sanskrit. So how's that connecting to all the other things that you want to do?
There is a dominant thought which has been there with me for some years, is that I want to read our scriptures like Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, or Vedas, but I do not want to read, or I've read English translations. To me,
Mm.
it's like this would be somebody telling the story, and it is his version of the story. I don't know whether the real story is this, or so I want to read the real story or in our scriptures. And I feel that if I learn language, and gradually now in last 10 years, I have learned that Sanskrit is the most ancient and most powerful language in the world. Even the computer world is using, NASA is using, and I have read Sanskrit up to 8th standard. And also I did a in German when I finished my medical school. Uh,
Wow.
so my way of thinking is that okay, if I learn a language, it will keep my mind active, and also I'll acquire a skill which will keep me engaged, and maybe I can do something interesting if I read the original scriptures. So that's the only motivation that I have.
Oh, that's a great thing, and yeah, we seem to share an interest here. I also learned back Sanskrit, after having studied in my high school, for the same purposes that you mentioned. So that's a very, very interesting perspective on learning something new to kind of develop new interests to keep interests alive in our own lives. And
Other
yeah,
interest I have, Raghu, I love dance, but
wow.
I never learned it formally. I am not initiated in the music. I don't understand what the notes are, what the catch the beat. But whenever I feel music, I listen to music, I feel like dancing. So another dream and my goal aspiration is that I want to learn dance, and also it will be a good mobility, good physical fitness, and also it's good fun. And the music, for that reason, I want to learn that okay, I should have some sense of music or musical notes. That when I dance, when the beat changes, what does it mean? How the beat? What does it mean when the beats change, or what moment I should do?
No, it's almost like I'm talking to a 20-year-old kid, who wants to do so many things in your life, and that's the kind of zeal and enthusiasm, I see here. And if you're, my own perspective of longevity, as you emphasize, is if you're anyway likely to be there for long, why not be more why not make it more interesting? Why not be more productive for longer, healthier for longer? And you have, when you have time on your hands, you can do a lot of things. So it's
This
very.
is how I think that
Mm,
okay, one thought comes that okay, I'm 60 or about to be 60, life is gone, what to do and all that, start creeping and start complaining. But the other way is, which I like, okay, you are 60 and you are likely to live 20 more years, because
yes,
the longevity is increasing. My hereditary, or my what do you call, the pedigree is such that mostly people have been healthy and active. So I have 20 years and I can do amazing stuff in those 20 years. Because first 20-25 years is you have a lot of other things like reproduction, raising kids, raising family, name, all those things are gone now. You are much more calm inside, so you exactly know what you want. So to me, it looks like life is going to be more interesting for next 20 years.
absolutely. That's the concept they talk about in the context of longevity. That don't look at age as a chronological age, but look at prospective age. And as I said, if you're going to live for another 30 years, then it can actually make you feel a lot more younger, and you can create a lot more objectives for yourself and make it a lot more fun and exciting life. There's one question I see in the chat, Doctor. The question is, you mentioned about having a purpose. When did it first occur to you that having a purpose is critical? And do you see a difference between people who have a defined purpose and those who don't?
Um, See, for me, this curiosity about what is life, why we are here, has been very from very early on. and I have been reading books. There is a book called Self. What is self? The search for meaning, man's search for meaning. All
Yeah.
these books I read in search of what is the purpose of life. But then I attended a course, a curriculum for living. It's a landmark forum, and which is basically coaching about life, which I did in 2013. During that coaching, I realized that what I was reading and what the coach explained, the things became very clear that it is your life, you decide what you want and what is important to you. And that the moment that clarity came, that okay, my purpose of life is to be service to others, nothing else. I'm not looking for anything else in return. In return, I just need some money to live a decent life, and I don't need a lot of money. So if you cultivate your mind and your needs in such a way that you are, you decide to live reasonably good life, but not wasting money or resources. Doesn't matter what you use it for, at least don't waste in all physical amenities. So for me, it was very early on, but the 2013 onwards, it became very clear. And after that, I have been very peaceful and I have no other kind of mental distractions.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So when we look at a longer life, one of the other things that we should not do as a result of some of the discussions that we have had is to trivialize or underestimate the capacity or capability of our own elder years.
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely, absolutely. I think that we should, those families who have elders or senior citizens living with them, they should feel very privileged, very special. And because it is, that shows them a mirror. That is how they will be like, we say the parents are the mirror in which you can see yourself. 20, 30 years down the road, you will be like that. And then you should be humble that it is nature, it is cyclical, it will all things go like this. So don't undervalue the experience sitting next to you.
Fantastic, doctor. We are, I think, just about completing 45 minutes. I can keep, talking to you and looking at various perspectives of what could really result in positive aging. As we discussed, the uh, life expectancy is increasing. It is in our hands to make the process of aging as enjoyable, as productive, as healthy as possible. And the some of the tips and guidance that you gave, Dr. Sangwan, is going to be extremely helpful as one looks at living longer. You mentioned about scriptures and Sanskrit and so on. I get reminded of the Vedic saying that says, "Jivema Sharadashatam, Pashyema Sharadashatam, Nandama Sharadashatam, Modama Sharadashatam." It's not just about living longer. We will see, we will hear, we will do, and we will enjoy for 100 years. So I think that's the kind of goal that we ought to have, and some of the actions and tips that you gave will go a long way in realizing that. Thank you so much. And just before we end, just checking if there are any other questions or comments that we need to just quickly attend to. Otherwise, it's been a fantastic conversation that we have had.
Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Sangwan, we hope to see you in your dancing shoes someday very soon.
Yes, definitely, Rima.
And one quick message for the youth, because you are doing so many things, your entire life journey is so inspiring. How do you manage to find time for everything? I think we all find excuses saying time nahi hai. How do you do your time management, Dr. Sangwan?
Time, Rima, is a mental concept. It's not really anything else. It's a mental concept. If you keep your mind filled with I'm busy, oh, I have to do this. I live with the idea that you do what you are doing and don't keep too many thoughts going, in your head. Oh, I'm so busy, I have to go there. I'm a very simple person. So when somebody asked me, sir, when we can meet, I said we can meet now. I'm always free. I really not very busy at all. So and with that, I don't feel tired also. I like some people say, I don't know how you travel from Gurgaon to Delhi every day. I said, it's very, I mean, it's like sitting in the car is like sitting in your drawing room. The sofa, you sit in back of car, you do what you like. The driver is driving, you read, you listen, you do your Zoom meetings, you do make your calls. If all these things are exhausted, I keep few books next to me. So I'll start reading and listening to music. So tiredness and time is a mental concepts.
And just before we end, I think one question that I just want to ask Raghu also, because he's been in this space, he's helping and nurturing and nudging people to live this kind of a positive life, especially in their elder years. So Raghu, just a quick 1 minute. I know we are a little above time, but what inspired you, and how do you think it's going to benefit the larger the organization and the communities, and the whole concept of Elders India?
Yeah, I'll just take a quick minute. And as we know, as you also mentioned, life expectancy is increasing. At the same time, increasingly we have single child families. And you just mentioned about the constraints of time all of us have. But at the same time, as Dr. Sangwan moved back to Delhi, one of the reasons is to go back and make sure that he resides close to his aging mother. This is one of the priorities for a lot of employees, a lot of sons and daughters. Elders India is an attempt to help the employees of the corporates who tie up with us to provide better care for the parents, a holistic care for elders. And with that vision, we have started and we have now over 90 partners across 140 locations, which enables any of those employees or the sons and daughters to avail services right from home health care to elderly assistance to emergency response, safety, security, financial security needs, as well as social needs of elders. So that's what Elders India is attempting to do. And as we briefly discussed, there is a responsibility of the community to support the elderly. And Elders India is one such initiative to bring awareness and to help the ecosystem to take better care of the elderly, because that's the aging population is a reality, and we need to do everything that we can to support the elderly.
Rima, in my last 25-30 years of clinical practice, I think the single most gap is for most of the elderly parents, their kids are out of country.
Yes.
And we can create a system to take care of them where they live. I think that will be the phenomenal thing in going forward.
That's exactly our aim here.
Thank you, Dr. Sangwan. We hope that with Elders India, we can help and support more and more elders to live inspirational and happy lives like yours. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined in. We know there was this technical glitch, so we started a little late. This session will be available on all our online platforms. The recording will be available so that it can reach out to many more people. Thank you all for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sangwan.
Thank you, sir.